What's going on, everyone? Hope you're doing fantastic. So I bought a 2015 plate it was about a few years ago, so it was only 3 years old at the time. I think it was 2018 that I bought it. It was a beautiful AMG line Mercedes-Benz E-Class, as you can see in the picture. And I was really happy with this, right? But there was so many reasons that this was a huge mistake. And I just saw a pretty famous entrepreneur talk about how one of the worst things you can do is buy fancy things and fancy cars in your 20s because you just lose that compound interest of investing that into assets, right? So let me explain. This Mercedes was a huge mistake, not only because of the business at the time, probably wasn't doing as well as I thought it was, but that's another story. It was a mistake because I bought this in cash, right? I would actually personally lease cars now if I was going to lease them, but let's forget about that. This was a huge mistake because I bought that in cash, just shy of about 14,000, maybe a bit more, something like that, and it was a huge mistake. That cash that I spent on that car, if I invested that into another asset class, if I invested that in a business, if I invested that in like crypto, even, I know crypto's up and down, but if I invested that in crypto, it'd probably be worth, especially Ethereum or something like that, it'd probably be worth 100,000 by now, something like that, 60, 70,000. If I invested that into stocks and did my research, if I invested that into business, it would be making me money right now. That was a huge mistake. Buying a luxury vehicle in your 20s, right, is just a huge, huge mistake. And I really hope that most people don't make. A lot of people make this mistake because they get taken away by social media and like all these expectations, and like, you got hundreds of likes, that picture, when I put it on my Facebook, and I put it on there because I wanted to show people that I was doing well, and I shouldn't have had to feel like that. I'm just being completely honest. A lot of people won't admit this, but you do it because you want to impress others. I wanted to impress others. If I'm honest, there was something inside me that felt like I had to impress others. I had to do this because I felt pressure to show that I was doing well and show that I was making money. And that's such a dangerous thing to do, and I know that so many people feel that way, so that's why I had to do this video. It's not about like the now, let's see who's winning in 10 years, 20 years, it's not about buying that nice car. It's not very impressive. I'm never impressed by someone that's just driving a nice car, and I'm a car man. Like, I'm a car person. I like my cars. I'm at the moment I drive a fairly old BMW now. Even that I probably shouldn't have bought. It's the money is just, I could be buying that Mercedes again that I bought, like, not just bragging, I'm just saying I could be financing a Range Rover Sport at the moment, if I wanted to, I could, but I'm not, because it's just silly. It's just silly. Every pound that you spend right now is going to be worth less in the future. Therefore, I'm investing all the money I've got now. I'm invested in cryptocurrencies, right? I'm invested in business, right? I'm invested in compound interest, future utilities. I'm investing all of my money rather than spending it all. That money that I spent on that car, luckily I got it most back because I realised that I made a mistake only a few months after, and I actually sold that, so I only lost a few grand. But that was a huge mistake. At this age, it's don't invest in liabilities, invest in assets. Rich Dad, Poor Dad says this. Invest in assets, not liability. Everything I invest now should be compounding for the future. Now, some will go wrong. Yes, it's always a risk investing. Yes. But I'll tell you what is a guaranteed huge downside risk is buying a Mercedes. Right, because there's only one way that's going, and that's down. The price is going down and down and down and down and down. And also, it's not only is the price of that liability going down that you've bought, it's going down and down and down every single day. It's also, not only is it going down, but it's also costing you money. It's costing you money in fuel. Got a notification there, get rid of that. It's costing you money in fuel. It's costing you money in insurance. If something goes wrong, MOT, things like that. It's a mashes. It just costs so much money. But I now invest in things that are making me money. Now, that's not to say eventually that I can't buy nice things. Obviously, like I want to buy a house next year. Like I want to buy a house next year. I'd like to. I would personally lease a car maybe next year or the year after. But I will be doing it in a sensible way. I will be doing it on probably leasing it on my business to claim the money back, if we can do that, maybe even an electric car so you can claim the money back and you get a lot of tax benefits for that. Smart ways around this stuff, smart ways around this, financing yourself to a huge liability when you're trying to build wealth for yourself, maybe even generational wealth, which is what I want to build, and I want to build success for myself. The worst thing you can do is go and buy loads of luxury stuff like cars and things like that. And so many people are caught up in this. Don't start wasting all of your money, anything you make, on liabilities that are costing you money. I made that mistake for a long time. You have to invest in assets. I'm investing assets. I want to be buying houses, buying investments, buying cryptocurrencies, buying stock, buying things that I believe in the future. Investing all that money back in my business. Like this month, my business, all the money that my business makes, I'm probably only going to take 25% as a salary, and then I'm going to invest all the others into future growth. I'm also thinking about an add-on into my business is investing into, this is just my personal preference, it's very high risk, but it's up to you. I believe in the long-term future of it, but it's not financial advice. I'm also going to start buying cryptocurrencies from my company, and my company will own them assets. Investing in these rather than saying, oh right, now the business is doing well, let's go and buy a brand new van, let's go and buy a brand new car. I'm not saying there's times that isn't relevant for certain businesses and certain stages, but for us, no. Investing it all in assets that is going to be making us more money, and thinking about the long term. I think why people buy these things and why people buy these nice cars is because they have to try and, I know I was there once. You feel like you have to try and impress people. You have to try and impress all these people. But anyone that's doing well can see straight past that. Let me give you an example. There's a guy up from me, a few rows up from me, that lives with his parents or whatever. 18, he's probably 17, 18. He's just got a brand new Mercedes. I know that he hasn't paid for that. He's still at college. I know his dad's just bought him that. Right? I can see through it. I'm not impressed by it. And he knows he's not impressed by it. You might fool the odd person, but most people know that you haven't bought that car. For example. So it's just this. It's not only that. It's just a never-ending cycle of just down, down, down. Just down. You have to only buy stuff when you can afford that. It's different if you've got hundreds of pounds worth of assets or something that's creating you a lot of wealth. Fine. You can buy what you want. And if you've earned it yourself, you can buy what you want. But if you're just spending every penny on, a really nice car, it doesn't impress people. Let me just tell you, it doesn't impress people. You've got to just invest for yourself. Think about yourself, and be patient with the long term. That's what, this is what I'm doing now. This is such a huge lesson. I wish I learnt this sooner. Just investing in yourself for the long term future and not getting impatient and trying to show people that you're successful now. When most people don't care, or they see past it, or they see it for facade. Anyone that's very successful understands. They think it's smart when you're not buying luxury cars and things like that too early. They think it's smart. They're not impressed that you go and buy a Mercedes. They'd prefer you to be. They'd be more impressed if you buy a Corsa and invest all your money into assets. That's impressive. That's smart. So anyway, I thought I'd do that quick video. Why that was a mistake. I'll see you all soon.